So, hey everyone, it's Chris here, Great Stories. What you have before you, right here on the table, amidst all this dice, is our new dungeon. So, we're actually in the middle of a D&D game here, and I don't know, it's looking a little bleak for the player characters.
Yeah, party separated. Monsters everywhere.
Monsters everywhere. It's not good. It's not looking good.
Man, it's a good
there's
thing that I'm going to betray you and join the monsters.
You know what? It might change your dice roll luck if you join the monsters.
You
might increase our odds.
You might actually have a better chance for survival.
The reason why I'm such a great DM is because I only roll low, so nobody dies.
You also lie.
You know what?
I do.
Behind that DM screen, though, your rolls can be 20s all the time.
No one would believe it.
Not with your dice.
That's true. That's true.
I rolled a 20. Bull crap.
I want proof.
Right now.
Pixar didn't happen, Tyler.
Didn't happen.
So these models here, pretty awesome, by the way. Our producer guy, Phil,
Hey.
he actually painted all these.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm a werewolf hunter. You see my werewolf hunter? Show us, Phil. There we go, yes. And he's surrounded by some baddies here. We got a griffin.
A werewolf.
A griffin, a werewolf.
Griffin's kind of
well,
neutral.
he is a werewolf hunter, so that should be his natural enemy. I'm
Yeah.
really not interested in these other big furry things and feathery things. This displacer beast, really, I have a distaste for. That thing just looks like something out of The Thing. So I want to get away from him. But if I wanted to change up this this dungeon, let's say I had like the ability to warp reality. What could we do here?
Well, we could.
You can leave that beholder right in his prison, his walled prison.
No, see, the beholder also has the power to warp reality, and.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
He's right there. You sure you want to do that?
I am not liking this change. Can I undo my warp reality spell?
Not too late.
Roll a d20 for me.
All right, rolling a d20. A 2.
Nope,
What
it
does that do
stays.
for me? Oh!
It stays.
At least it wasn't a 1.
You know what? If it was a 1, it'd be right on top of you.
I would, yeah, exactly. I'd be in its mouth probably, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Opportunity of attack.
So what is this thing, using magic, or how's that working? How'd you do that?
Magic of magnets.
The magic of magnets. Yes.
Magnet magic.
Yes. And but this creation here is something we're starting to use in our shop actually, and which is giving a nice presentation of like what we imagine in our heads for our campaigns. And you know, we have maybe we can tell them a little bit about
So yeah,
who these people are who make it.
So this is made by
Magnetile.
Magnetile. Thank you. I was going to say Magnelite, and I'm like, wait, that's not right. I can read.
Yep.
Yeah, they just showcased this to us over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have more questions or you want to learn more about where you can get this stuff, you can contact them at magnetilecontact@gmail.com. Should I give them the phone number? Or?
No, I think
No.
that's kind of a
It's
personal
posted,
business card.
Yeah.
But the
We'll put
email,
links
yeah,
in.
they're
Yeah, the email should be enough. And I'll make sure I put the
they're local here in Massachusetts, by the way, and so
I'll put the email in text right here across the screen.
Yep.
And we'll make sure to put it in the description of the video.
that sounds great.
I like how they got these doors. These doors open?
Yeah, they
The
do
doors,
actually.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, they come with openable doors.
I think I want my character to go through that door, as a matter of fact, right out of this dungeon
How
and
many-
into
how many
safety. Can I?
Opportunities
Yeah,
to
you're
attack
gonna have to roll a
broken?
dex check.
roll
roll
a
a
dexterity
dex check?
saving throw.
All right. 15.
Oh, that's actually really good.
Oh, all
Okay.
right.
So yeah, you're
Much
making
better.
your way through. The beholder's going to try and use its disintegration eye to see if it hits
No,
you.
no.
And it missed.
Oh gosh.
It burned
All
a
right.
hole through the wall as you
That's-
escape.
Yes.
That's not a regulation
That's it.
D20 there. That's
I ran like a big chicken.
That's on you because this is your die.
I
don't use fake dice.
I got so many of these dice here.
Fine, I will use a proper D20. See if it worked. Oh,
Oh, sorry, Chris.
But there are no do-overs.
that's true.
I know you're the DM and all, but I saw that you rolled that legit.
Yeah, I did.
He missed.
I did.
He missed me.
He missed. He missed. He didn't miss this Medusa though. He got the Medusa.
No. But anyway,
You're safe.
cool. I'm safe.
We're boned,
That's what
but
matters.
you're safe.
Speaking of safe, and we're going into other more heavily charted territory, we're going to get into our show. our pop culture show.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're doing that.
And who knows what is waiting for us on the other side of that portal. But maybe we should roll for initiative to see who introduces us into that show.
I rolled a 1.
15.
I got a natural 20.
Take it away, producer guy.
All right, welcome everyone to this month's Pop Culture Talk. As Tyler drops his mic, I'm Phil Hamill. I'm the producer guy, and to my left is
Chris Mills.
I'm Mike. Tyler.
and we have
Ken.
and yeah. So
What do we have on tap for us?
we're going to be talking about Joker. I know
Was that good?
I really liked it.
Huh. Did you
Okay.
see that?
I'd see it.
All right.
I saw it.
It's too scary for me. Think I'm gonna go see a DC property? I would, for the Joker.
Yeah,
Just for the Joker.
just for Joker, just for Joaquin.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to be talking about Disney's Maleficent that came out. Is it coming out or will it be coming out?
It came out a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. I haven't
I
seen
gotta
it
go
yet,
see
so.
that.
We've seen it.
I've seen it.
There we go.
Amazing.
There we go.
I've
We're
seen something.
we're
This
keeping
might be
it-
a first for for actual
Unprecedented.
theatrical movie.
Yeah, I usually have nothing to
Do
say.
you
about
watch
stuff.
movies?
This time I did. I went with my fiance, and she wanted to see Maleficent.
You getting married?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news,
Congratulations.
folks.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so I came back from London a couple weeks ago, proposed to my girlfriend, and incredibly, she said yes. Also, later on, I proposed to her on the Tower Bridge, and later on, I someone made the connection that that's where Spider-Man defeated Mysterio in the Far From Home movie,
Oh.
which is also the first movie that we saw in the movie theaters.
So that's
How awesome is that?
That's
So-
both nerdy and romantic.
How awesome is that?
Very nice. Very nice.
Good for you guys.
I mean, Ken only writes our comic blog, The Crank File, so really he does it in style, all right? He actually proposed. He proposed at the site of the last Spider-Man movie's ultimate finale. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
That's
So-
pretty amazing.
You definitely get your pop culture props for that one.
Yeah, I feel like I earned my geek credo.
You did.
My geek cred on that day.
Now,
There-
now, where was that
no
New
doubt
York
about it.
restaurant where Tobey Maguire started dancing for the first time? As
Oh
Emo?
God, we don't talk about that.
I actually
Let me
like
take
that
my
movie.
girlfriend for a
I'm one of
date.
the few people that do. We're also going to be talking. We're going to be speculating about Mandalorian.
Yeah,
for
Right.
Little Star Wars
for
action.
the Star Wars action, and
Yeah,
maybe
we got
we'll
a lot
talk a
of
bit
some
about
Star Wars stuff going on here.
Rise of Skywalker. Maybe.
Rise of Skywalker, a little
Yeah, we-
speculation on
Yeah,
that,
you
and
guys
then
can definitely talk about that. That'd be
and
nice.
maybe talk about
You
what
guys
we're looking forward
enjoy
to with the
talking
new
about that.
streaming service
Yeah.
that is coming out on November 12th.
I wish I
for
invested in my Disney stocks.
So,
There's stocks.
yes. So yeah, we got a jam-packed show. So let's kick it off. Let's get right into it. The Joker. All right, now. Hey, it's,
Didn't see it.
even though you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
you are a Batman guy.
Sure.
All right. So I know you've got opinions. So, and you have seen.
Loved it.
It looked
Tyler,
cool.
Looked cool.
You succeeded in your role. Tyler, you have you've not seen it, but you've read all the
Yeah.
dirt sheets.
I
You've
have.
done.
I have listened to
blogs
so
and-
many reaction videos. I've
Yep.
watched speculation videos. I'm, reading the politics behind everything. There's a lot of hype going on with the Joker movie
Politics?
right now. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
This
there's
is
a lot
big
of
time.
politics in
We
this.
do realize this
we
is
have to
a
avoid
movie
everything with
Yeah.
politics.
about
So,
fictional comic book character,
I've
right?
heard enough
There's a lot of
about
political
the
commentary.
movie at this point.
And social
I've
commentary.
basically, I've vicariously seen the movie through other
Through
people.
other people's
at this
eyes.
It's a
point.
terrible way to see a movie.
yeah, right.
I do it very often, actually. I actually watch like ending explain videos before watching the movies
It's
themselves.
like here's
and
a
I'm real bad.
spoilerly video.
But I can still enjoy a movie after like knowing exactly what's gonna happen.
God bless
Like,
you.
It really
God
it
bless
doesn't
you,
bother
sir.
me.
I can't.
So to me, it's like watching a football game after you know what the score was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know
Just
how the
loses
score
something.
came to be like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's a
fair.
valid reason.
That's fair. I guess I just don't have that
This
patience.
is probably the right time to say that I read the last page of every book that I read first, And
That's
then
just heresy right there. Heresy.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like Tyler said several
Burn
times
the
on our
witch.
show that he's dyslexic, right? So like,
Yes.
if he's if he reads the last page
Yeah.
and likes what he reads,
Yeah.
then he's gonna suffer through reading it through his dyslexia. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
that's
thought
right.
he was going on a different
Loves
one.
Yeah, I thought it was
too.
gonna be
I'm
like
so
a
dyslexic, I accidentally read the last page first.
No.
And then it
no,
makes
I was
sense at
trying
the
to-
end.
Yeah.
Finally,
I
it
was
all.
trying to advocate for you, dude.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Phil, you and I
Phil
have
did
both seen
see the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Chris
We
and I
have
have
both
both
seen
seen
the
this.
Yeah.
My girlfriend saw the movie. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, hey, you can
She
share.
did not have a fond opinion of it.
Oh boy. Okay, so all right.
Okay.
I don't know what Phil's opinion of the movie was.
I actually really liked it.
I don't know what your. Well, did you know what I thought of it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, all right. What is it about the Joker? Let's set the stage actually. All right, because
Okay.
we have a deep history here with the Joker.
Yes.
On screen.
He's the best thing about
Right?
Disney. DC.
About Disney.
DC.
Whoa.
Sorry,
Disney's
that was
the
a slip.
Joker?
I'm
You're
planning
cut
it.
off. No more coffee for you.
No, I will drink this till I die. It might be later today. I don't know.
So
I
you were
mean, I
saying
know
it's-
Disney owns almost everything, but they haven't quite gotten
Right.
their hands
Not
on
yet.
DC
Eventually they will.
So
So
maybe.
Who are we kidding?
So the Joker is the only good thing about DC. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that really how you feel? That's not how you feel, because I know you are.
I like
You
I
like
like
Red
Static
Tool.
Shot. I like Static Shock. I do like Red Tool.
Do you like Raven?
I do like
Yeah.
Raven, but I don't like what the comics are doing now
Right.
with
But
her.
the character itself.
All right.
Yes, I do.
So
like
we're setting the
Raven.
stage.
So setting
Joker.
the stage here. I mean, so we have a deep history of like some really good actors portraying the Joker on the screen.
A lot
yeah.
of different takes too.
So
Yeah.
and different takes.
There's
Exactly.
like what, 4 of them?
Well, for
Cesar
cinematic,
Romero.
we have Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson,
Then we had Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
The best,
and-
obviously.
Then we had Jared
Jared
Leto.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
I guess
did Joker?
Caesar.
No, he was a
kind of
joke.
does it. You
He
know?
was a joke, but
There was
Is
a
that-
Batman
is that what that
66
character
movie.
was?
Yeah, that was. Yeah. He was supposed to be a Joker.
Emphasis
Oh,
on the
that
joke.
was
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
and then
now we
we
have
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
And I have to say right now that I think if Tyler saw the movie, he would be very happy. Well, actually, it could go either way. The fact that they took this Joker, and this Joker could have, as a prequel movie, could have literally been a precursor to the
Heath Ledger
Ledger Joker.
I can see it.
Stylistically, I feel kind of honored what that character
I've
portrayed
heard that
in
he's
the
done
Dark
a
Knight
very
films.
good job.
Oh,
I've
it's-
been a Joaquin Phoenix fan since Signs, which was the first film that I saw him in.
Okay.
Even though he wasn't a great actor in that particular movie.
That was
That's
good.
where I was introduced to him, and I was like, "Oh, I know that guy. He was in Signs." Then I'd watch the next film, and like, "Oh, I like this. He's doing good."
Well, I am gonna, at the risk of having you come over the table at me, I am going to say that Joaquin,
Can't hear you. If I
Joaquin
can't
actually,
hear you, you're not saying anything.
his portrayal of the Joker, I think, is probably the best out of what we've seen. But I say that with it's like a little asterisk on that Heath Ledger basically took the role after Joker has already become the Joker.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
he only got to portray the Joker in
As
his
the villain.
in his ultimate form, whereas Joaquin gets to run the gamut of the progression of the character,
Yeah.
which is a bigger stretch from an artistic standpoint,
Yeah.
right? As an actor, but he is brilliant.
Oh yeah,
in
he
this
does
role.
a phenomenal job in this
And
movie.
I would say, and I'm not the one that's usually like with like these, some of the more like fanfare comic properties going, oh, best picture, Oscar nomination, that type of thing. But I will say this, he deserves a best actor nomination for this role, 100%.
I agree. To kind of follow up on what you said about comic book movies and like all the praise and accolades, this is a comic book movie that doesn't feel like a comic book movie. There's very little like over the top action. Like when you think like comic book movies, you think like Endgame or like Spider-Man, like all these like really cool action set pieces. It's really not that at all. Like it's you get some minor action, but it's very grounded and real. It's more of like a character study of how a man could become the Joker.
Right.
And I find that to be really interesting, and they kind of borrow some ideas from like the Killing Joke with like origins of like the failed comedian, the I don't want to get too spoilery.
No, you can go for it.
All right.
Well, I mean, I
we've
still
cast-
haven't seen the movie.
yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So like,
And I do plan on still seeing it. I know, like, it's kind of my bad not seeing it yet, but
Ken's like gonna run off screen right now.
yeah, I can just go.
no,
Good
please,
years.
please
It
don't.
works.
Is it earmuff?
Yes. Earmuffs, Ken.
Just say whatever you want. It's all good.
So, as we all know, Joaquin Phoenix plays the Joker, and
Yeah.
Yep.
Joker's a kind of hard character to like play. Like, how do you play that kind of like unsettling crazy? The director like and the writers, they gave Joker like an actual like disease as to like why he laughs. Like he has the there's an actual like, I can't remember the exact name of the disease, but there's like an actual psychological disorder, which basically under intense emotional situations you have these really inappropriate reactions to this stimulus.
It's almost like a Tourette's-like
Just like
condition.
Yeah.
like a twitch.
Sort of.
Like a
So it's
tick.
like in these situations of like being like really emotionally distressed,
Right.
instead of like being upset, like he just has like these violent fits of laughter,
Right.
which I think is a great way of like humanizing like why Joker's always laughing.
Sure.
And earlier I said like social commentary. Joker like goes to he goes to like therapy, and like he's trying to become like a better person, like a healthier person, but at the same time like social services are getting cut, so like he doesn't get the help he needs anymore. The social worker doesn't really like, his social worker doesn't care about him because for her it's just like a 9-to-5 job. And the system doesn't care about her situation now that she doesn't have a job. Like it's a whole thing about like not leaving people behind in terms of like people who actually need help. That's like the social commentary about it.
Oh,
So-
poignant.
The
I didn't actually expect it to have like a message like that where
That's to me
he's painted as I will say, like, even though right from the get-go you don't trust him, you know where he's going to end up.
he's a Joker, yeah.
But his just like you can understand how his mannerisms and his condition could lead to a very unsettling reaction from the people around him. But even though you're a little bit scared of him at the beginning of the movie, you're also, at least for me, I was extremely sympathetic and and felt he was being wronged at every turn, and it was like you can't help but almost like be on his side and in his corner.
That's really messed
in
up.
a lot of ways.
It's
and
they do a lot of stuff early
Yeah.
on to make you sympathetic towards his problems.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of the first scenes he's in. He's working as a hired clown. Like he works for an agency and goes to do odd jobs around Gotham. So like he's doing like a sign spinning gig, and he literally gets jumped by a bunch of teenagers who proceed to assault
right
him.
at the beginning of the movie.
Like beat him over the head with boards. They kick him. They like steal stuff from him.
Yeah, they lure him down an alleyway
And then
after stealing
beat him,
his sign.
beat him and leave him,
Beat him
like
senseless.
bleeding in this alley, and then he loses his job because like the sign the shop that owned that sign, like they needed their sign back, but it was destroyed when they were beating him up.
Right.
So like he
Yeah.
couldn't give
He
it
went
back.
right to a hospital, and they just said, "Oh, this guy took our sign, stole it, and left the job."
Right.
That type of thing.
Yeah. So like everything in this movie is like beating this man down. Like he lives in a really crappy apartment with his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's trying to be a dutiful son.
Yeah, he's
And,
like trying to take care of his mom, and
Yep,
like he's trying to be a good person, but just the world just keeps beating him down.
Sure.
he is.
Beating the little guy down.
Right.
Tyler, you're about to say something.
Yeah,
Please.
I was going to say where a lot of the social commentary on the political end has been coming in, from what I hear, is that there is a bit of an outcry that from one political side that states that the major issue that they have with the film, and this is the opinion my girlfriend had, was that it paints people with a mental illness in a bad light, as if this is something that somebody with mental illness might be prone to do, or that this is something that they're capable of, is becoming this. And the way I had to explain it to her is that for anyone who knows anything about Gotham City prior to Bruce Wayne, is that it was pretty much one of the worst cities that you could live in, just absolutely riddled with crime.
It was like Detroit on roids.
Yeah, it's just not a good place, and they represent that very well in the film itself. I mean, you got random kids beating the crap out of people in alleyways just for fun. You have businessmen, going to town on this guy because he's got a weird laugh. You know, so this is not a good place to live. So you take the fact that he already has this mental disorder that causes him to have inappropriate responses to serious situations. You mix that with the fact that he's literally been abused his entire life.
Yeah.
From childhood right up into adulthood. The fact that eventually the person he idolizes the most essentially turns on him. He finds out that his mother, his past with his mother is not what he expected, and all these things combined with the mental disorder is what breaks him. It's not the mental disorder itself that makes him the Joker. It's just kind of, that's what gives him that iconic laughter, and that's what drives him towards wanting to be a comedian, is to try to like normalize his own issue. But it's Gotham itself.
It's an indictment on
turns
society.
him into the Joker.
I do think that the movie is there is a social commentary, and it's an indictment of society in general. I think people can kind of choose to, they can cherry pick what they want from it and say, it's not fair, you're targeting mentally ill people, but they're not. They're targeting everything. They're really just kind of throwing the whole system under the bus, so to speak. And there's a lot of truth to that, And I mean, obviously, we're seeing a very stark picture of a world that, I mean, there's a lot of good in our world. but this is a movie, right?
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, the
And
majority
that's like,
of
and in order
these
to tell compelling
civilized-
stories, you need to have exaggerated truths. That's what the entertainment business is about. So I think that people need to just relax on both sides. I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. It's a movie, folks. Just enjoy it for what it is. And, we're talking about the Joker here. I mean, let's face it, were we supposed to paint a rosy picture of everything? I mean...
So the argument was that anyone with mental health they thought like it depicts that anyone with mental health could, like under the right circumstances, could slide and become the Joker and become...
essentially, that mental illness is something to be afraid of.
I see.
That's how they feel that this movie is depicting people with mental illness, is that they're,
But it's just they're depicting the Joker with mental illness, which is different than depicting.
Correct.
I figure it's different than depicting like someone.
Basically,
a normal person with mental illness.
It's not the illness that made the Joker. It was the illness
Society
that
that
gave
made the
him
Joker.
his thing, but it was society that turned him into the Joker.
So we shouldn't make any movies about mentally ill people at all because that's offensive.
Yeah.
Well,
like, saying like Rain Man, right? Anyone.
Let's take I Am Sam off of
go
the.
off and go.
Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to think of a movie where like a character is like mentally unwell, and you said all of them, and I'm just like,
Darn it!
what other ones are there?
Forrest Gump, was he mentally unwell?
Yeah.
No, he was just kind of slow, wasn't he? It wasn't like he was like mentally.
He was mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he had a.
Okay, so not really a disorder.
Yeah.
Well, getting to your point about like as far as like best Jokers go, and I think this one's kind of, it's kind of a layup for Joaquin. I think he is a really good actor, and he looks like he did a really powerful Joker portrayal. But as far as best Joker in cinema, I think this one's kind of easy to say because this is the first time that we had a Joker have a solo movie.
That's true.
He's always,
Fair.
the foil to Batman in
Yep.
like every.
It's the first time that he's really been humanized.
Right. It's like we never had to bother with like, who's the Joker. And it's just like, he's just this crazy guy that Batman fights and beats up.
Mm-hmm.
I think Heath Ledger was the first one to actually push the character, at least in the screen, to be like, hey, this guy's interesting enough where we could potentially do like a full feature on him.
I would argue to say that without Heath Ledger, we would never have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And
I think that's a very fair point.
That's a very valid point.
I mean,
So
otherwise,
give credit to Heath Ledger and Christopher Nolan.
right? And like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they just bring Jared Leto and be like, "Hey, let's do a feature on your Joker"? It's like no one would watch that.
Jared Leto actually tried blacklisting this movie. Like he put up a huge stink about it
He's a
because
little butthurt.
He sucks.
because
I like
He's a little
Jared
jelly.
Leto, to be
In
fair,
what?
Jelly donut.
but I like 30 Seconds to Mars.
I mean, in movies,
It's a great.
I agree.
I
like,
liked him
He's a good movie.
in what was
Requiem
that?
was like the only movie
Not
I've seen with
Requiem.
him.
He was in Blade Runner, which I mean his part was kind of a bit part. Like he was supposed to be like the main bad guy, but like
I'm hard pressed.
Just-
to
but,
deny Jared
there
Leto,
was
Just
another-
like in
to be
Suicide
honest
Squad,
with
he
you.
was supposed to be the main bad guy, and it's like, you
Well,
weren't that
yeah.
good. We had to cut
yeah,
you
but
completely out
none
of the
of
movie.
Suicide Squad was really good. So.
No, it's,
Well, he
it's
was
a
in
whole
he was
other-
in another movie where he plays he's like the last like mortal human. I can't remember what it's called right now. It was pretty interesting.
Well, I think the fact that we're all very struggling to come up with more than two Jared Leto movies kind of like sets
I mean, he
it
doesn't
off.
have a wide cinema.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
it's also-
hard pressed to name any Jared Leto films. Pineapple Express, was he in that?
Was he in that?
I don't know. I can't. I honestly, I don't even remember. I think so.
It was,
but
he was also
I
upset
tried,
that
Jared. I'm
his-
sorry.
Maybe his agent just doesn't get him as good a role as his.
Or maybe he's just
Or
a
maybe
Joker's
he's
not
not a
a
good
good
actor.
actor.
Maybe, right. It's fair. I don't. I mean, he's
Thank you.
he's
Let's
not.
mince words here. He's probably not that good an actor.
He's not the Kristen Stewart of male actors. I don't remember him
Ooh.
being that bad.
Who is the Christian
But-
Stewart of
This is like
I
that's
think
kind
it's
of
Hayden
like,
Christensen.
Okay, fair enough. Good point.
That's a left field dig out of
I don't think that's fair to
Like, I don't
say.
know.
Every chance I get, well, all right. Truth be told, I walked into the theater last night with my wife
Yeah.
to see a movie we're going to be talking about next, and I passed by a sign. It was called Underwater, starring Kristen Stewart, and I said, Mercy has finally visited us.
Underwater.
Yes,
Premonition of things to come.
yes. That's not very nice of me. I apologize.
I saw her
That was
smile
not
in a
very
movie
Christian.
once, and it was convincing.
Hey, she looked in the. Did you see the trailer for the Charlie's Angels movies? I mean, she looked passable to that.
I have not actually.
I have
So-
actually.
Just
I almost didn't recognize her.
See,
I don't
at least
know.
Kristen
I don't
Stewart
know.
doesn't give her co-stars dead mice like Leto
Huh?
did.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that was a thing
You know what? You know, outside of the context of the Joker role, it
Yeah.
would have been really weird if either of them did that.
Leto was trying to out Ledger.
No, he was trying to get in. He was trying to get into the character of Joker.
Right.
So he was like sending his co-stars like dead mice and used condoms.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's what the Joker would do.
Because that's what the Joker would do. He would do immature pranks like that.
Yeah.
I see.
I think the Joker probably would have just like, I don't know,
Hashtag trying
shot
too
them
hard.
in the head.
He would have sent them a bomb.
Yeah, see, there you go. That would have been a Joker joke.
That would have been
But
a Joker
you
joke.
can't do that in filming, and Jared knew that.
Smarten up.
He did. Let's be
Dead
honest. He
mice.
didn't know where to get a bomb. He wouldn't have known where to get a bomb.
I think he could have done
I'm
it.
pretty sure he.
He would have talked to his agent.
It's not that difficult.
I'll get you a bomb and like.
All right.
So-
we don't know how to
Probably
make
should probably
or
cut that
purchase
out.
bombs at
Yeah.
all. No clue.
This is going to be edited.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit all this out.
But so the Joker movie definitely takes you on this a bit of emotional roller coaster
Oh yeah.
for his character, Arthur
Fleck.
Arthur Fleck. Yes.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
And
I don't believe that was Kraft.
and there was some talk about how even though the movie was called The Joker, it wasn't really going to exist in the quote unquote DC universe. But
No, it was its own standalone project.
But it is actually. I mean, it really is.
What do you mean?
It seems. There was some talk about how they weren't going to intermingle other elements from the comic.
Yeah, right.
The comic.
Like there
books,
was gonna be like Batman and.
Yeah, it was going to ignore like, the whole Batman thing, but it doesn't. It actually
No,
does
it actually
incorporate this
it
stuff.
does incorporate Batman
Um,
in a
and,
very minor way. Like if you know nothing about Batman, this would be like a weird nothing.
Yeah.
This is
It's,
kinda
it's,
like
a-
background
it's very
news,
interesting. It's a very
that's happening
interesting
in the
reveal.
background.
But,
you get Alfred.
It's part of the story.
You get Alfred.
You get Alfred.
Bruce,
You get Thomas Wayne. You get
Bruce.
You get Bruce Wayne.
So
in
yeah,
this
those
movie.
3 characters from the Batman canon are in Joker just as minor characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do they at all tie it to one of the Batmans, like one of the Batman franchises? Is there any indication if it was like a
I don't think so.
Nolan or
No,
a
it just-
Burton or a was Joel Schumacher Batman universe?
Definitely
that?
not that one.
That's
That's
just
totally
a
no.
continuation from Burton's Batman universe, and no, it
Yeah.
does not do that.
No. So definitely more of a Nolan-esque.
No, I would say more. If of any of them, it would probably be the Nolan Batman universe.
Mhm.
Well,
So-
getting into he could be precursor to Heath Ledger. That would make sense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just because Nolan's Batman movies were like the most grounded of all the Batman movies,
Yeah.
like it would just make sense that Joker being a very grounded movie would kind of take place in that same universe.
So was by the end of it, was Joker like full-on mass murderer Joker that we know and love from the movies? in the
not
series?
really, no.
It's it's
I mean,
interesting
he
because
he does pile up a kill count.
it.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
very
he does,
minor.
but you actually there's a very what's the gentleman's name? Bernie Getz type moment in the movie. If you're familiar with Bernie Getz, Bernie Getz was a resident of New York City who was basically packing a sidearm. He was just a normal citizen and was attacked on a subway and ended up using his gun to kill his assailants. And it was a little controversial because I believe, and someone may have to correct me on this, but I believe that at least one of his assailants was attempting to run away from the assault, and Bernie Getz basically, almost in a pursuit, or
Murdered him.
Yeah. And
At
so
that point, it wasn't self-defense anymore. It was murder at that point.
Correct. And there is a scene in this movie where Arthur kind of faces the same type of scenario, but he comes across as sympathetic because he was targeted, and he was merely protecting himself. And so
For the first 2 guys. Then
for the first 2 guys, and the third guy he
chases him
He
down
chases
and
him
shoots
down.
him in the back.
Yes.
Like, that's not defense anymore. That's just straight up murder.
which could be like considered a turning point for the character, where that's the first sign of where he was actually going from being the victim
To being the monster.
to being more of a predator.
Interesting.
Also, it kind of I don't mean to derail you. I'm sorry about
No,
that.
it's okay.
But it also kind of makes sense in his character why he would continue to do that kind of stuff, like, killing, because like Arthur has no real control of his life, and the fact that that's like the first sense of control he actually has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with people who don't have agency, like, they want to have agency. So like in a twisted mind like Arthur's, I can actually see like that feeling of control like being like a drug for him to like constantly keep going after. Like I'm not advocating for murder, of course. I'm just saying, like, in the context of the character, that's how I interpreted it.
Certainly hope not.
Yeah, let's make sure we're all very clear that we're not advocating.
Yeah, we do not condone Joker's
I like how you're all
acting
looking
in
at me
this.
because I'm the Punisher fan.
Oh, you also wearing the Mega Death shirt.
Yeah, you're wearing Megadeth on you. We're all.
That's a good band. Politics for this situation. Okay. Anyway,
When did this take? Like, what era are we talking about? Like, when does this take place?
70s or 80s.
Cool. I like that because I
was
kind of
early
got that
80s,
feel
I
from
think.
the trailer, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, so it was set
Yeah,
like back.
it goes back in time because Bruce Wayne is a little kid in this movie. Like,
Interesting.
and there's a couple little like twists and developments. Again, I don't want to get too much into the spoilery type stuff for your sake, but there were some very interesting relational type of things
yeah.
with Arthur and the Wayne family. Which,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to purposefully not mention that
Yep.
for his sake.
Because that's actually a pretty interesting plot.
It is a very
to follow
interesting plot,
through.
and something that I'm not so sure, and I'd be very interested once you actually see the movie, that we can talk about it. But if there's any kind of story within the Batman pantheon of comics, if that if this type of relationship ever happened, or if this was unique to the movie that they presented.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
So,
probably not. It'll probably be something unique to the movie.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I think it's something unique.
Well, what
but-
I mean, do you mind? Just gotta tell me. So it's one thing.
So,
You sure? You sure?
are you
so
sure?
we
I
know
love that you're the one that's bringing this. The one that's like, you haven't even seen the movie. You've
The thing is, I know exactly what they're talking
Yeah.
about because
and it's gonna like
I've-
literally blow it all apart for me.
It might not, but it is something that is interesting enough, and certainly it's a huge development point for Arthur Fleck. So,
All right, don't tell me that.
No.
Okay.
Don't want to. But there is another thing. Robert De Niro is in this movie,
Yes, he is.
What?
which I did not know.
I didn't know that.
When I walked into the theater, I had no idea he was in this. But he actually plays almost a Johnny Carson.
Yeah, like a
slash
late night talk show.
late night
host.
talk
like a
show
like a
host.
talk show comedian.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of he plays almost like a father role, at least in the mind.
Of Arthur, he
Yes.
thinks of Robert De Niro's character. Was it not Marty?
Morris or
Maury.
Morty.
Maury.
Yeah.
Something
like that.
Robert De Niro's character, his name is Maury, and Arthur kind of looks at this guy not only as like an inspiration for being a comedian, but he almost looks at him as like a father figure, which later on in the movie, Arthur gets really upset about that because Maury likes to. Maury basically
He's in the
takes
comedy entertainment business. He's looking for, ratings. And sometimes in that business, you're willing to kind of put someone else's dignity on the line.
Yeah.
So he takes a clip from a stand-up routine that Arthur does and proceeds to heckle him, like pretty badly. And Arthur is not happy about that. Like his hero is basically like shooting him down and treating him less than he feels that he deserves to be treated. Which I think also adds to that, like, he feels betrayed by, the system, by his family, and now by this
Correct.
figure that he looks up to.
Correct.
Like they all just like treat him like dirt, which adds to that.
The only time he gets noticed in life is when it's for a negative reason.
Yeah.
It's not. He's never been shown real love, except from his mother, and that's. But you come to find out that she's a little bit nuts, So, so this is a very interesting development, and also leads to a what I thought we were going to see, like technical difficulties here.
Don't feel so bad anymore.
I believed that the first time we were going to see Arthur turn full Joker was going to be in a situation potentially with a Wayne family member, right? And what we got was that the big moment was actually with this father figure that he had.
This Robert De Niro's character, Maury.
I'm gonna spoil it for you. Spoilers.
Yeah. But it might be my favorite Robert De Niro moment of all time. I have to say,
Are you not
and
a
I
fan
might
of
be a
Robert
little.
De Niro?
I got
Well,
Fucker, 'cause he looked
the way he's been a little mouthy lately.
Everybody's mouthy.
I know.
all I'm going to say about Robert De Niro's character in this
Listen
is,
here, Fokker.
have you ever seen The King of Comedy by,
Bernie Mac. And
no,
those guys?
Martin Scorsese.
No.
Okay. Then I won't spoil it for you, but Robert De Niro actually plays a similar role to Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker in The King of Comedy.
Basically, a comedian that
Like a failed comedian. So
that goes.
it's like a nice little homage.
It is.
Some people might say
It
it's
is.
copyright infringement, but I
Yeah.
prefer to think of it as homage.
Okay.
So
So,
without
we-
really going into more spoilers, I don't think
Yeah,
we can
I
really
don't-
say anything else.
No, but we'd love to hear from you about what you thought of the Joker. And so please, comment and let us know if
are your
our
political
opinions are
opinions?
totally out
Are you
there. Or,
pro-life?
Tyler,
we
stop
got
it.
it all wrong. But yeah, we would love to hear from you about that.
God,
And,
I wish I hadn't said it the second it came out.
and so,
It was pretty
Don't
good.
worry, I'll.
We all knew what
and
you
be
meant,
sure,
but-
be
I will
sure to
edit it
spoil the
out.
movie in the comments for Ken. He won't be reading your comments. He'll be
No.
staying away from your spoilers.
I will,
But anyway.
I will be reading your comments.
You
I
just
read
edit me
comments.
out. You
Now-
just edit this like part of the screen. Just like, we'll just cut it.
We'll just put a
Come out.
standee in.
Yeah.
Just put a bleep.
That's all right. Ken will have a lot more to talk about in the next segment here.
You may be surprised.
You because he saw it with his girlfriend, maybe you spent too much time
No.
paying
What are
attention
we
to her
like?
instead of
What
the
are we
movie.
what are we like?
Oh, hey,
12?
hey.
Fiance.
Oh,
Hey,
that wasn't
man.
what I was getting mad about.
Oh, okay.
Well, whatever.
Anyway, so let's get into a little Maleficent. I know some people who haven't seen the movie here, right,
Yeah.
have an opinion because we
Yeah,
heard
I
his
also have an
commentary off camera.
Well, I didn't really know much about this movie to begin with. Like, there's a movie before this, right? That
Yeah.
Which
There was.
Maleficent.
So
Maleficent.
this was Maleficent 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was like the follow-up to another movie. I don't know.
So
No.
did it not make sense?
Well, I knew it was, they're doing like
Okay.
something. When you saw the Spindle, you knew they were doing something on like the Sleeping Beauty
Yeah.
story.
Do you need a
Correct.
breakdown of the first movie?
I mean, I'm assuming that Maleficent raised this girl, and then like she's the one that placed a curse on her because like she didn't want her to die.
Basically, it's
Basically,
the
she
same
saved
thing.
her life
It's
by
basically the
putting her on
same
death.
thing as like the original movie, except in this movie,
What's the original movie? What are we talking about?
Sleeping
Maleficent.
Beauty.
The original Sleeping Beauty.
So in
okay.
the original Sleeping Beauty, she
So
gets
Sleeping Beauty, okay.
she's very jealous of the king
Right.
and queen, so she lays a curse on
Right.
Sleeping Beauty. She pricks her finger, she falls asleep.
Right.
Maleficent wins.
not that
So in this in the movie Maleficent,
Yeah.
which is an adaptation of that
Yeah.
with live action, what it actually was that Maleficent, as a child, was friends with the young man that would eventually become king. And in order to become king, he had to cut her wings off of her and take them to the kingdom, and that's how he was crowned king. She wanted revenge for that, which is why she laid the curse on his firstborn daughter. Then he was so obsessed with making sure the curse wouldn't happen that he basically became this tyrant, trying to control every aspect of her life.
Right.
And then Maleficent spent her entire life kind of watching over this little girl that was now taken away from the kingdom to protect her with the fairy godmothers to try and like keep her safe until her 18th birthday. And what essentially happened is Maleficent was kind of watching her to like see her slowly develop, and she kind of fell in love with her. Like as
But
a
she was
little-
asleep the entire time.
No. She as she's growing up, basically the curse says that
She's gonna prick her-
before her birthday she
Oh,
would
okay.
prick her finger and she'd
Right,
fall
right,
asleep. And Maleficent, of course, knew this, but watching her grow up, she kind of fell in love with her, and like eventually, like as a little girl, she meets Maleficent, and Maleficent tries to keep her distance, but she's such an eccentric and loving little girl that she ends up befriending her.
Yeah.
And then the whole second half of the movie is Maleficent trying to protect her from pricking her finger because she knows it's going to happen, and it ends in like a bloody battle between her father and Maleficent, and in the end all is happy-go-lucky, and then enter the second movie.
So
All right.
now that
I'm
we
up to
got
speed.
we're up to speed.
Didn't really clarify a lot from the movie, I'm being totally honest, but okay, let's keep going.
Okay, well then that tells us a lot about the second movie.
So Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, very misleading title. Very misleading title, right?
Why is that misleading?
Because one would suspect that we're talking that Maleficent is the Mistress of Evil, but we find out that's not who we're talking about at all.
Oh, was that the twist? Because I kind of felt like Maleficent was kind of evil, though. Like, she was evil, right?
Originally,
Yeah.
back
Well-
when Walt Disney was in charge, yeah.
Well, in this one, too, she's just like, she was murdering people. And this was really, I'm sorry to get ahead of the game, but this is a really violent movie for a Disney movie. People getting murdered left and right.
Incredibly violent movie.
She was just
so
killing people
well, but
pretty just nonchalantly.
I mean,
yeah, I mean
Put the dice down, Chris.
I need to put the dice down. Yes, back away from the dice. Thank you very much, Chris. All right. She was, but I mean, she was doing that to protect. You know, she was doing that because she has been targeted by the human race. She was reacting to her
Yeah, I think you're being
You know-
a little bit racist here.
So
Yeah, I don't know if I am.
But-
Humans versus the Fae.
right,
the
so we
humans
just automatically.
the humans were all right. So in this movie,
So?
we know in Maleficent, for those of you out there who watched Maleficent and then watched Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, understand that the Fae are being targeted, right, for this plot, this evil plot, basically, by the Queen. And the Queen ends up being the Mistress of Evil,
Right.
I believe. That's what they were referring to.
Ah, I see.
So, this movie, though, I will say this. There was not a lot of character development, not a lot for the actors and actresses in this movie to do it. It was a giant action set piece,
Yeah.
which is so much different than the first movie. I thought Maleficent was a lot more of a...
You got that strong character development where she went from like being extremely hateful to basically wanting to protect this girl that she put her curse on just
Yeah.
because she hated her father so much.
Yes.
And now, oh, and the best part, the whole true love's first kiss thing.
Yeah.
So you do meet the prince, and the prince does eventually come to kiss Aurora's lips, and she doesn't wake up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, it didn't work. And Maleficent, destroyed by this, the fact that she lost Aurora, she goes over and she plants a kiss on her forehead and tells her that she loves her, and she wakes up.
True love.
Yeah,
That's
it was
good.
beautiful.
That's
I thought
nice.
it was great.
Nice little twist.
I don't care what anyone says about her.
So, I kind of have mixed feelings about Maleficent, the sequel, because it wasn't really, there wasn't a whole lot for the actors to work with in this movie. The set pieces are beautiful. I think you watched the
Oh,
movie.
totally.
I mean,
Yeah, totally agree. I think the
cinematography was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Battle sequences are great. Great
battle sequences are
CGI.
great.
The critters were
Yep.
all super adorable and like really fun to look at.
Yep, absolutely. But acting chops, there really wasn't any necessity for acting chops in this movie at all.
There
it
wasn't really a
seems.
whole lot of storyline.
There was not a whole lot of
Well,
dialogue,
I will
really
say-
meaningful dialogue and storyline.
Where it needed to be was Michelle Pfeiffer's character, and she was phenomenal, right?
She was good.
She was just really ice cold. You really believed her being this, cold-hearted, do anything at any cost in order to protect your people type ruler. And that,
I feel like all her, you're right. I mean, she was probably she probably had the biggest focus out of all the cast. But I feel like all of her scenes and lines were probably delivered in the space of one day. It was like a one-day shoot.
There wasn't a whole
Yeah,
lot,
like there-
and she also wasn't very nuanced character either, right? It's like came out pretty early, like I don't distrust her. I distrust this character. I don't like her. She's being mean. Okay, now she's just full out evil. It wasn't very subtle. Like
No.
that's the other thing. This movie wasn't very subtle.
Hey, this is the evil
That was
character.
not- yes,
It looked
exactly.
it's
the
Disney.
Mistress of Evil.
Yeah, but
It
it's
almost
Disney.
played out like a regular Disney movie.
Now,
Yeah,
did
it's like-
anyone,
You know exactly
did
who was in
anyone
what
directly
camp right
refer
from the
to her
beginning.
as the Mistress of
No.
Evil? Oh, that title drop.
the king. The king was like basically the stereotypical king.
Yeah, it's kind of like
where
doofus dude.
He's
like,
right, doofus dude who doesn't know what's going on in his kingdom,
just
right?
Kind of like, I'm king.
Yep. And then you got
A real Prince Edward?
Yeah.
the idealistic prince and princess type characters, of course. So there's a lot of like cookie cutter type of things going on here. But I don't know. I mean, not a whole lot to say about it.
I mean, the thing with the Fae was kind of interesting. I didn't know too much about those characters. They were pretty cool.
Yep.
Like, they were all like, just badass warriors. I thought that was
Sure.
pretty sweet. Eldritch, what's his face there? The one, the Fae.
Idris
Elba,
Idris
yeah.
Elba.
Yep.
He was like completely wasted in that role.
Yeah, underutilized.
Yeah, like that could have been such a good character, and it's just like, no, you're gonna get. I just felt like no one really had that much screen time.
Yep.
Just wasn't much of a story.
It was good to see Warwick Davis.
Yeah, good to see he's getting work after. He's from Game of Thrones, right? Like the first.
No.
or second
Peter
season?
Dinklage.
That's
No.
Peter Dinklage.
We were talking about different people then.
Yeah, Warwick Davis was
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun. He was Willow. He was.
Oh, he was the tinkerer there.
He was Widget in the Ewok
Yes.
way back in the day.
Oh.
So Wicket. Sorry.
Widget.
Widget. I don't know where I got Widget from.
I had a couple beefs with the movie just plot wise, like when she had to change the mannequin's head, open that secret passage. Like,
Yeah.
how'd she know how to do that?
I think the necklace was like out of place on it or something like that. The piece,
Yeah.
and that which was like, honestly, if I'm in that room, do you think I noticed
I
that?
would notice
crap?
that.
No way. I'm not
Because
finding
you
that
don't have an
secret
eye
passage.
for fine jewelry.
That was weird.
Mad props to her for being observing that.
Maybe she just didn't like the way the mannequin was looking at her, and she was like, okay, that's a
maybe.
secret passage. Cool.
That's
All
No
possible.
idea how she figured that puzzle out.
That's-
that was masterclass puzzling.
Yep. She must have read the script.
I also thought it was funny at the end when, sorry, spoilers.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Sorry, my break the fourth wall moment.
She.
Go
I
anyway.
don't think he cares.
Maleficent basically she says, okay, she's good with the marriage, she's fine, and then she's like, I'll see you at the christening. I was like, I didn't realize that Jesus made it over to this universe. That's interesting.
That was kind of an interesting
That
thing.
was
Like,
a
I
weird
was a
thing
little
to
like,
say, right?
yeah, I was kind of like, really? Okay. The other thing that I noticed about this movie is they have this bloody, drawn-out battle.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. Me too. Yeah.
Bloody, drawn-out battle.
People
Like,
are being
people are
murdered
getting
left,
maimed
right.
and murdered left and right, and then they all got over it in about 5
Yeah,
minutes.
the guy's
and
like,
they're all
stop,
like
we're gonna
happy
stop
love.
fighting. Everyone's like,
And it was like-
okay, yeah, let me help you up. It's like, he just murdered, not only was trying to murder you a second ago, but probably murdered 10 of your friends.
Yeah.
And you're just suddenly cool because this guy over here is marrying this broad.
I mean, it
Oh,
was
okay.
a rousing speech, but
As soon as the battle's over,
No,
everybody's
was it?
friends.
No,
Just-
that was a
you're right.
terrible
It
speech.
was
so
a
bad.
terrible speech. I mean, so there's some pretty big plot holes here. All right.
Yeah.
The size of a truck could drive through.
But I mean, the action sequences were great. I will give it that.
Yes.
It wasn't unentertaining.
Phil, you seem to be you've been like snickering
He's been
away
biting his tongue this entire
here,
time.
talking under your breath, and all these things. Like it's as if you got something to say.
So, I know Tyler's seen it, and I'm assuming you guys have seen the original Sleeping Beauty, right?
Yeah.
1959.
The
you know,
animated
was a
one?
good year,
yeah,
man.
it's so,
Silver Age Disney.
what are you, 4?
Classic.
So, I'm going to ask you guys a pretty serious question. What made Maleficent cool in that movie? Because everyone I've ever talked to about this says that she's the best villain that Disney's ever drawn.
Oh, dude, her outfit. She has the best character design.
That was Snow White.
Oh shoot!
It'd
Best
be
character
Green
design.
Fire, Big Dragon, Wall of Thorns.
Talking mirror. This is a cool character design.
That's also Snow White.
Right? No.
I'm getting my
mirror on
Disney
the wall.
confused.
Yeah, you get Disney confused.
You're both watching Snow White.
All right. Well,
So-
Maleficent's character design is still awesome.
Yeah, she's got a solid
Yeah.
character design.
Yeah.
But you know what also made her really entertaining?
What?
Is the fact that she was super petty.
Yeah, about everything.
Do you know why she initially cursed the child in the original movie?
Because they didn't invite her to the
She
christening?
got snubbed.
Yeah.
Was that
she
a
got-
christening too, actually? Like, she
Yeah,
got
it was
not
Aurora's
invited to-
christening.
There's
The-
no christenings in this.
The
this
good
empire.
fairies were
There you go.
invited, and then what was it? The blue fairy insults Maleficent, and she's just like, "Fine, you want to be petty? I'm gonna curse this child."
Yeah, she was petty. Yeah.
That's what made her awesome. Why is Disney redacting its own history?
I don't know. She was kind of petty in this movie too. Like
I like that it was a different take
she was
on
not
the
cool
character.
about going to go to this castle for dinner with the prince's parents. Like,
It's-
she was petty.
Well, another
She
thing
was.
Yeah.
So I think there was a little bit of pettiness to her.
it's another thing
for sure.
too is in the original movie, she didn't know that she didn't know where the princess was. That was the whole plot of the original movie. But now it's the Maleficent movie, and then its sequel is oh, we're redacting all that. She knew everything.
I liked it.
You would.
I liked it because it was a completely different take on the character, and it gave us a perspective that we would not have otherwise.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
But
I mean, and
if-
also
if-
the story's changed over time. If you based off the old Hans Christian Andersen original story,
see,
it's
I'm not-
completely
what
different
I'm
than
gonna do is
that.
I'm gonna separate the original from
Phil's a
the
purist.
remake.
But I mean, if you can be
Like they do
purist,
with
then
everything
be
else?
purist to the source material. Then I mean, how's that any different than what Disney changed it from the original story when they did it that time?
But here's the thing: is Disney wrote the character to be pure evil. That's the point of Maleficent. Her name is Maleficent.
Uh-huh.
Mal, evil. You don't name a good person
Maleficent.
Maleficent. She's efficient at being evil.
Right.
You don't name a character like
Which is
that,
what
and
it
you don't
made
make
it
her
so
a good person.
interesting when you find out she wasn't actually all that bad.
This reminds me of that Friends episode where Joey says, "Crystal chandelier," talking about a stripper. Well, what her parents think she was going to turn out to be. With a name like that.
Darth Vader, of course he's got to be evil.
It's
Look,
just,
I think it's redemptive. It's a redemptive thing. Like, hey,
like,
look,
I
you can
get it.
redeem
Disney wants to
someone.
revise its own history.
You just
Fine.
like
I'm-
old Maleficent.
I do, because it's a fun character.
And I do too, and she's great in her world, but this is a different Maleficent.
I mean, I gotta
It's
say, I
wonderful.
like this. I
It's a
like
kinder,
this character.
gentler Maleficent.
Yeah.
For a new age.
Still cursing little babies, but you know.
Yeah.
Still doing evil
Feeling
things.
bad about
Still
it later.
murdering people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just,
she murders people left and right.
I guess I'm just
Also,
more
she's got
upset that they
wings.
took a
Yeah.
fun
And is
villain
technically an elf.
and made her a tragic hero.
Really?
Yeah,
like-
yeah, she's a winged elf. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
I
people are entitled to what they like, and if everyone liked the same thing, the world would be a dull and boring place.
absolutely 100%.
If people disagreed on nothing, then we'd all just be boring. So there has to be some sort of adversity in what people like
It's
and
certainly
dislike.
making this video more
There
interesting.
does. Exactly. But you know,
Exactly.
this is a nice intro into something that never inspires any debate at all, and that's the Star Wars movies. Right? So, you know.
Oh, nice seamless segue
Nice,
there.
nice segue, right? So
I mean,
you know,
technically, Disney is revising its own histories again.
we don't have to buy Phil Maleficent 2 because eventually it will be available for streaming on Disney Plus,
And
where
I-
he can
and I
see
put-
it.
I invested in
not
the
quite
stock.
for free,
No, I didn't.
but have you already gotten your? Have you guys gotten your subscriptions yet?
No.
No.
Not.
No. I'm the only one here who's actually bought into it. So
I mean,
far.
did you do it or your wife do it?
Actually, I did it for my wife.
So your
It's the
Christmas
same
present
thing.
to her.
It's the same thing.
But technically, I am kind of interested.
I am
in,
too. I mean, all the
you
modern
know,
stuff's gonna be on there.
There's just, I mean, they're giant.
watch
panels
They're
of
they're
their
gonna
whole
get
history
me
is gonna
just
be on there.
because there's gonna be no other way to watch the stuff that I enjoy.
Well, so
Right.
we've talked
It's
about
like,
it
oh
in
great,
previous
thanks
episodes.
Disney for twisting my arm again.
Right? Previous episodes, we talked about how there's going to be a whole litany of Marvel stuff coming out, original content, which is going to be awesome. And of course, you're going to get because of the Fox acquisition, you're going to get a lot of the animated, the X-Men, Spider-Man animated films,
Animated
TV
shows,
series,
yeah.
that kind of thing. But, day one, you're going to get the Star Wars, the Mandalorian, which is going to be the first ever small screen format live action Star Wars show that's ever been.
True.
Which is kind of this is a little bit groundbreaking, right? And also probably focuses on a segment of the Star Wars universe that has not gotten a lot of attention, right? So,
At least not in the films, anyway.
right.
I've read a
So-
lot of books with Mandalorian characters and things like that, but
Yeah,
that's not canon
but for
anymore,
the
so.
it's not canon anymore, and it's also I think the vast majority of the Star Wars the people who are aware of Star Wars, watch the Star Wars movies, probably haven't delved into that stuff.
No, they probably haven't
this
read
is gonna be
the
fresh for
extended
them.
universe books.
I can't
So-
imagine. I can't believe how much content that's been created out of this, out of a character that really was kind of a throwaway guy. I mean, Boba Fett has
he's
in total
well-loved.
10 minutes of screen time in both original trilogies, but I mean, there's so much lore and backstory now that come out.
Fun fact, you know where Boba Fett's armor actually came from?
It was like a stormtrooper.
It was a
repurposed,
scrapped
right?
stormtrooper idea.
Right.
It was going to be the Super Trooper.
Right.
And then George was like, no, I don't want to do that.
No,
Movie
I need to
idea.
pound it.
Star Wars Super Troopers.
They
them
tried
together.
that already. It was called the Clone Wars. It was just a copy-paste army. It's fine. CG solves everything.
yeah.
So I don't know much
So-
about the Mandalorians. Obviously, you know quite a bit about the Mandalorians. You don't know much except for I just know they have sweet armor and they're kind of like a class of bounty hunters.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like
right.
elite bounty hunters.
So what do we know about the Mandalorian TV show? Is it going to, what era of the Star Wars universe does this take place in? If we're looking at it from a cinematic point of view. Do we know?
I'll be honest, I don't know where this.
I'd say probably before he almost dies in a Sarlacc pit.
Well, we're talking about Boba Fett, or we're talking about all the Mandalorians.
I'm not even certain
Is
it's
it
about Boba Fett.
Is it called the Mandalorian?
It's called the Mandalorian. Yes.
And you think Boba Fett's not going to be in it?
You know what? He might.
I think you're going to have a lot of pissed off fans. Then again, taking a look at the
It could be
Star
Boba
Wars.
Fett training through the Mandalorian.
Okay with that every once in a while.
Oh, they're
Is it
annoying
Django?
everybody? Yeah, check that right off.
I don't know.
Well,
Spoiling
I
specific
kind of have this
characters and
thought that
killing
it
them
might
off?
be Boba Fett like joining the Mandalorians and like basically going up through the ranks and like becoming like the world's most deadly bounty hunter, and then like getting conscripted into the Empire to like do Vader's dirty work, and then
Okay.
like maybe the series will end with like, hey, you got Boba Fett. You got Han Solo. You weren't gonna go hang out at Jabba's palace? Yeah, I am. And then he's gonna like fly off on Slave 2, and then that's how the series ends. That's my hot take. Thanks for my TED talk.
So it kind of be like, what was it, like that Star Wars movie where it goes right into New Hope?
Oh yeah, Rogue
Rogue
One.
One.
Rogue
yeah.
One.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a Rogue One-ish series where it's like a direct lead up into like Jedi.
Yeah, probably. Well, I'm
That's
thinking
cool.
it's almost like Boba Fett's
Would
story,
they,
basically
would
like.
they do that? Because that would like secure like a specific amount of episodes, and then it would be over. And that's not really the Disney thing.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Is like maybe it's like starts after Clone Wars, where you got young Boba, talking about his dad's severed head. Like he's like
talking to his dad.
he's like touching his dad's severed forehead. It's really messed up.
Real-
to think about
real
it.
Kind of like
Kylo
the
Ren
Jason
vibes.
Voorhees of the Star Wars universe.
I kind of had this. I was rewatching Clone Wars recently.
I mean,
just
technically he is his dad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a clone.
that makes me upset, but that's fine. We're not getting into that. I kind of had this thought of a joke in my head where like he's like in Empire, he's like, he's no use to me, Dad. I mean, dead.
He's no use to me, dad.
Oh boy.
Get him, Dad.
Do it. Oh jeez.
All right.
But I think the Mandalorian is going to be like young. It's going to like start as like young Boba Fett, and like as the series progresses, it's him like growing up and like going on like different missions across the universe. Like that's what I picture it's going to be.
Well, I think that's super interesting.
I imagine we're gonna have like we'll see if it is Boba, there'll have to be other like Star Wars characters they bumped into. It seemed like Han had like some prior.
Oh yeah,
passing knowledge of
they've
him.
definitely had some sort of history,
Yeah.
Yep.
Which would be cool if that played out.
and it can't just be what they did in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Well,
Was that his first appearance?
That was his first appearance.
That's
Was the Star Wars Holiday Special?
was? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in an animated segment of the Star Wars Holiday Show.
Yep.
It was Boba Fett's first introduction where he was hunting Han Solo. And Chewie almost got him, like almost killed him. And Boba escaped. And that was how he was set up. And then we got him in Empire.
Okay. Interesting. Well, The Mandalorian's not the only Star Wars news that we have, right? We recently had the full trailer for
Yeah.
for the Rise of Skywalker,
We did.
and
Yeah,
has
Billy D.
Yeah, has
We got
everyone-
We got Billy D back, yeah.
We got Billy D back.
Yeah.
The coolest part of that trailer was Billy D on screen.
Well, I think we got a couple throwbacks there too, right? We had another unexpected return. The voiceover was all. I mean, I could be wrong, but it sounded like Palpatine.
It did sound like Palpatine.
Looks like we're gonna get
That's
some
all
Force
the buzz.
ghosts. We're gonna see ghosts.
Sith
Luke.
ghosts.
With the Sith ghosts?
Are they
Sith
gonna be red?
reincarnations?
I feel like if we're
they
gonna
gonna be
get
red
ghosts,
ghosts?
if we're gonna get ghosts, we're gonna get more Mark Hamill.
Oh, we're absolutely getting more Mark
Dad.
Hamill.
Yes, Tyler's dad is going to be back.
Uncle Mark?
So, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
I'll be honest, like I'm not like the biggest fan of the newer trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't hate them, but I'm not like, oh, they're ruining Star Wars. But I'm like, they're fun popcorn movies. Like I'm not like overly invested in it. This looks like it's just going to be like another fun popcorn movie.
Yeah, I'll go see it. I'll see it in theaters too. I'm
No.
gonna go see it with Brandon.
good person to go see
God
it
be
with.
with you.
It's going to be great. It's gonna be good. I'm not expecting anything from it. If it surprises me, awesome. If it doesn't surprise me, well, that's what I expected. Cannot expect.
I still can't wrap my head around the fact that you've got Carrie Fisher's character.
Yeah, Princess Leia is
is-
still alive, which is
Right, like so. Like was there a lot of
Oh, yeah,
B-roll that they
Star
were
Wars
able to
CG.
use?
They're gonna CG the crap
or
out of her.
Is it just CG that they're gonna, like how are they gonna manage that? And what kind of a role does Princess Leia play in this movie? So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me where they go with that. Luke Skywalker is presumably
He's a ghost.
I'm
He's a
assuming he's
ghost.
going to be a Force ghost.
He's going to be there.
you
for
know.
sure.
So yeah, we presume that will happen. What is the relationship? Where are they going to go with the Kylo Ren?
Well, obviously, Kylo Ren is going to bring balance to the Force, while Rey goes full dark side.
Think so?
No, probably not.
No.
I think she's going to contend with the dark side at least a little
Yeah.
bit because she's going to explore it.
Sure.
She's got no fear of the dark side.
Mhm.
But I think between her and Kylo Ren, the balance of the Force is going to be realized.
And do you
Probably.
think, hopefully this will provide a satisfying ending to the trilogy. I don't know what they have, if they have anything planned after this.
I think they have like
the cinematic universe.
I think they were talking about like at least 2 other directors want their own trilogies.
Well, they had
Sorry.
Really?
They had the,
That's what I've
the Game
heard.
of Thrones guy.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got kicked off of that project though
Yeah.
because of season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
they botched the crap out of
they
it.
botched season 8 of Game of Thrones, so Disney kicked them off the Star Wars projects
Oh, I thought they
They
had
were-
like
they
other.
that
were-
they
One of 'em.
rushed Game of Thrones for so they could get to that Star Wars project.
Define irony.
That's the greatest plot twist.
That's like the senior who gets accepted to Harvard and then decides to mail it in the 3rd and 4th quarters and then gets
Booted.
is like, yeah, we don't want you.
Was that a movie?
'Cause you're
It's the greatest joke. Like when I read that, I was so happy because I felt betrayed about Game of Thrones
I think
season
a lot,
8.
I think a lot of fans did.
That's just justice for me.
Yeah, we don't have to reopen that wound, do
No,
we?
no.
That was a beautiful moment for me. I was already saying that it wasn't that great.
But so anyway, there's a lot to be excited about as we approach the holiday season. We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next pop culture segment, clearly. Hopefully we'll be able to, I don't know how Disney Plus is going to release The Mandalorian, if it's going to be the whole series.
We're all just going to
that's-
come to your house for it, I guess.
Oh, all right, that's fine. Yeah, just come.
I mean, I'll check your sources.
Anyhow, we hope you enjoyed the show. It was a lively debate
Very
this
lively.
evening.
Probably
and,
more politics than was necessary.
Yeah.
Yes. So stay tuned for our
editing
next
most of it.
comic talk segment as well. But we appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time.